Now, I think Denis Villeneuve Dune is one of the best sounding films I've watched in recent years. He's one of the few directors who truly understands the importance and power of sound in storytelling. But it's not the first time we watched Frank Herbert's work on the screen. So in this video, I want to compare the latest take on the story to the previous adaptations. Now, that's gonna be with a focus on sound design. So don't click away, because this will be a fun one. Today, I want to focus on 3 takes on Dune, 1984 David Lynch's film, which he said he regrets making.
Do you regret making?
Yes.
2000 miniseries by John Harrison, who enjoyed the process a bit more than Lynch.
Those who really know the book will see that it's a very faithful adaptation of the story.
And of course, Denis Villeneuve's latest movies from 2021 and 2024. Each adaptation is a creation of its time, and I think it's interesting to put scenes side by side and listen to the different visions of the directors. Let's start with the voice.
You mustn't speak!
The classic silence from McLachlan. Rather than go for the strength with low frequencies and bass, they went for reverb and echo. It definitely made an impression on this lady though. The voice in a miniseries is not bad.
Why don't you tell me?
They went for a simple modulator, but if I listen to it a few times, it starts losing the power, the mystery. It's okay. It's okay.
They're just dreams.
About what?
Now, the latest has the most powerful voice of all 3. It's a similar style to the miniseries rather than the original 1984. It's a modulation with a large delayed layer of another voice. Now, it may sound good on a computer or your phone, but in a cinema it was something else. Moving on, the Harvester.
No contact.
Report 2.
Negative.
In Lynch's Dune, there isn't much sound to the Harvester. We get some thumping and mechanisms inside the machine, but even these are overshadowed by this thumping noise.
No contact.
Report 2.
Negative.
I kinda expect these big machines to sound much heavier. In a miniseries, we can only hear it shut down, so they didn't really focus on the Harvester at all. There's some heavy clanking sounds going on though. I think that 2021 Harvester is also not that impressive. So there's some clicking, there's some clanking, there's some mechanical movement, but the scene is focused on the Ornithopter. So the creative team had to choose, as you can't really make everything on the screen a priority. And it's a shame because, these look great and deserve a powerful sound. Ornithopter is one of the coolest vehicles in Dune. In 1984 Dune, it doesn't sound as much. It's like a passing airplane. Kinda sounds same when it lands, so it's okay. In a miniseries though, they did it a bit better. So it does sound more sci-fi, and I can hear some fluttering going on there. There's a jet engine, there's propeller. It actually sounds alright. Now, the sound design in the modern Dune was my highlight. It was something I commented on straight after walking from the cinema. So they combined a dragonfly with a helicopter, giving it a sci-fi treatment. It sounds futuristic and yet natural. It's amazing job, and I love it. Now, we couldn't have this video without the Sandworm. In In the old Dune, the Sandworm sounds like a dinosaur or something. Like, there's some of that guttural sounds, but the sound design is more spacious than deep. Of course, it's hard to gather from these YouTube videos how it really sounded in the cinemas, though. If it was more impactful, I wasn't born yet, so I don't know. There's a slightly different take in the miniseries. The Sandworm sounds more humane. It howls like a real animal, with sound modulation, of course. But there is certainly something human about it, like it's speaking to us. Now, in 2021 June, there wasn't much of the Sandworm screen time. I'm sure there'll be more in part 2, but here the team went for animalistic, yet kinda alien-like sound. The worm is humming, is hissing, and we can hear the enormity of the creature. The sounds are coming from deep inside. Now, I'm very curious how they will develop it further. Thumper is next. Thumpers and their vibrations attract the sandworms. In 1984, it reminds you of a heartbeat. It's a simple sound, but effective. In the miniseries, we hear a slower thumping, deeper. There's a big reverb on it.
That's not fear.
And in 2021 June, they scaled it back again, so we hear a close-up of the mechanical device. When it closes, it has that really cool tail end. But we don't really hear how it attracts the sandworms from afar, so it's not as epic as in the miniseries. And lastly, let's look at the training and the force barrier. So 1984 sounds outdated. It's like a cheap Star Wars lightsaber fight. Yes, it gives us a sense what that shield, the barrier, is doing, but it also sounds like a product of its time.
Is this what you seek?
Now, miniseries has a different take. The shield turns off and on and has crystal high-frequency sounds that match the visual. I could see it work in a video game. It's a bit outdated and it sounds like old TV series-like, but I wouldn't say it was terrible. And of course, in the latest Dune, it sounds awesome. It's heavy, it's modern, but minimalist, with frequency pulsing doing all the work. You can hear the artistry that went into sound design. Great vision and execution. Alright, I think that's enough for now. Obviously, this is a bit of fun. We need to remember that times when these were created, the vision and the budgets. Dune's 1984 budget was $40 million, which in today's money is $122 million. The miniseries cost in 2000 was around $20 million, which is around $37 million today, and Dune Part 1 in 2021 was $165 million, which is around $192 million in 2024 money. Well, what does it mean? Well, for starters, that cash doesn't hold its value very much, so let's invest it, I don't know, in art or land or something. Jesus Christ. But also, it's an easy cop-out to say, well, you know, they had more money, so that's why everything's better. Well, we have many examples of films with huge budgets that are mediocre at best, hello Rebel Moon, and smaller productions that are amazing, like 2009 Moon with Sam Rockwell, which costs around $7.5 million in today's cash. So yeah, Denis Villeneuve had more cash to play than his predecessors. That means better tools and better creative teams, more people, more experienced people, and so on and on. But he is an audio-centric director. At the moment, one of the few, but that's a topic for another video. So, it's clear which way I lean. And I'm the first to admit that I haven't read the books yet, but I do love the genre. And I remember when I walked out from the cinema and I said, I don't think everyone would like the movie because it's slow, it's a hard, deep sci-fi, but it's the best sounding film I heard in ages. And I immediately spoke to one of my mates, he's a senior sound designer, and he knows what's up. And we both fanboyed how amazing the movie sounded. So I don't know if I watched a better sound design film since then. Now, I wrote this video before part 2 comes out.
I'd like to be equal to you.
Maybe I'll show you the way.
But you can be sure I will be there, watching and listening in appreciation of the fantastic work.